Greetings, everybody! It finally happened. We finally know some details about the vampire skill line. We know the passives, we know the active skills, we even know the ultimate right now. And yeah, I just want to go over the skills real quick, show you what they are, and yeah, get ready. So, starting off with the ultimate, I would say. Let me check. Okay, let's start off with the ultimate here. So the Blood Scion is the base morph here. You transform into a Lord of Night. This is basically what you saw in Skyrim. You transform into a Vampire Lord. Instantly healing full health, increasing your max health by stamina and magicka by some amount. I don't know which how big the values are on all of these skills. They're all blacked out, unfortunately. So I think this might change, or maybe they just don't want us to know yet. But this kind of reminds us of the Goliath transformation that the Necromancer has. You gain stats, you heal instantly, and yeah, this is basically what this is. But you also gain magicka and stamina, which is pretty interesting, which could maybe turn you into like a mini emperor. And then, you know, just imagine being an emperor and then turning into a Blood Scion. Wow, that's gonna be beefy. So yeah, we don't know how long this is gonna last, but you know, we'll see in the future. While you are in this form, you heal for a certain percentage of all your damage that you deal, which is probably going to be a lot. And you can see enemies through walls. This is like, what? I don't know how this would look, but I'm interested. I'm really interested. Well, we'll find out soon, I guess. The first morph is called Bat Scion. You transform just like the other one, but while in this form, you also get some bats that swarm around you, kind of like the old bat swarm. And they just pick at enemies that get close. And yeah, that's basically it. The other morph, the Night Scion, is interesting in a way because you basically advance to Vampire Stage 5, which doesn't exist at the moment. But Vampire Stage 5 would be all the benefits you get from Vampire Stage 4 with none of the drawbacks. So yeah, this is pretty interesting. This could be really good for some builds. Maybe some health regen. Being in that kind of form, getting heals from the damage you're doing, having a lot of health, and then not even having the reduced health regen. This could be really interesting for some really high health regen builds. So yeah, interesting stuff. We'll see how this goes. Let's move on to the next skill, the new one, which is called eviscerate. And if we check this out, the base morph here basically just says slice an enemy open, dealing some magic damage. And it deals up to some percentage more damage based on your missing health. So the lower the health is, the more damage you will do. Interesting kind of berserker kind of game mechanic here. Let's look at the first morph. The first morph, basically, while the base morph costs magicka, the first morph costs health, is called Bloody Mess. And yeah, it basically increases the damage bonus and costs health now. Like I said, we don't know the values yet, so unfortunately we can't really tell how much better this is, but I would assume since it costs some health, and that might be potentially dangerous, you would probably get a lot of damage out of this, I would guess. Because, you have to drop low to get the bonus. You have to spend health for casting it. So it's probably going to be a pretty beefy bonus. Let's look at the next morph, which is called Disembowel. What this does is it will always be a critical strike. If you are under a certain amount of health, a certain percentage, you will always crit strike on somebody, which is interesting. they're really going for this kind of self-destruction play style here, where you have to take a risk to potentially get a big reward for it. Interesting, yeah, very interesting. Maybe you could, use a pod, or maybe use the mage's the mage's guild skill to drop your health, and then maybe come out of stealth. So I think Nightblades are probably gonna make a comeback with this kind of stuff here. Interesting, yeah. So that's Eviscerate. Let's move on to the next one, which is called Blood Frenzy. Let's look at this one. So the base is basically you go into a Blood Frenzy, increasing your weapon and spell damage by a certain amount. This costs health per second. This is new. So you basically you toggle this, and you increase your damage by hopefully a lot, because it costs you health a second. You cannot be healed, so other than by yourself. So you can't have like an off healer or something to shoot you some heals. You can only heal yourself, so you kind of have to keep yourself going, which could be interesting. Like I said, like the self-destruction kind of playstyle here. Let's check out the first morph, Cold Blood. So what this does is you get the bonus and cost increase no longer remains toggled on. Okay. Was there a cost increase? The bonus and the cost increase. Oh no, the bonus and the cost increases the longer it's toggled on. Okay. So it's gonna cost you more. It's gonna tick away at your health pretty beefy at the end, I would guess, but you probably gain a fuck ton of damage. So I mean, like I said, it's kind of this self-destruction playstyle, maybe a little too much in this direction. Maybe we should focus on some other things instead of just purely going into this self-destruction kind of deal. But yeah, interesting. So this could be like really strong here. And the next morph is called Taste for Blood, and when you toggle the ability off, you heal for a portion of the health cost you spend. So interesting. You could just go in, do a lot of damage, then toggle it off and get the heal, a beefy heal, and putting you back into a good state, and then maybe allowing you to go in again on the next target. So yeah, kind of like I always see some heavy synergies here with the Nightblades. They would kind of do stuff like this, go in on a target, drop the target, go in stealth, and then pick the next target. This would synergize really well with them. So yeah, probably gonna be really popular with the Nightblades. Let's look at the next one. The next one is Vamp Drain. We already know the Vamp Drain. Let's go over it real quick anyway. There's some changes. The base morph, I think, did not change at all. Yeah, you do damage and you heal for a certain percentage of your missing health. This is still the same. The the first morph is called Brain Drain. All right, Zenimax, take it easy here. Brain Drain. Yeah, so you basically, it's the same thing. You deal magic damage, you heal, but you also restore magicka while you're draining. This kind of reminds me of the old Vamp Drain. If you guys remember, like way back in the day, Vamp Drain used to actually restore stamina, and a lot of that. And that kind of goes back into this direction. I like it. I feel like stamina builds are a little left out on the skill line. Would have been nice to see some stamina morphs or something that at least offers more benefits towards stamina playstyle. This is heavily magicka focused right now, but yeah, I don't want to complain about it. It seems pretty cool. I don't know how much it's going to be. We'll see. I hope they kind of balance it well so that, I mean, sustain is going to be interesting next patch. And then you have stuff like this coming in. Yeah. Things are going to change in ESO. And then you have the Invigorating Drain, of course. I would say probably the same maybe they changed something for the ultimate uh regen here. Hard to say, we'll see, but I would say this is probably the same as it is on the live server. Okay, let's go to the next one. The next one's called Mesmerize. And if we look at this here, the base morph, you seduce all enemies in front of you, stunning them. So this is kind of like the Nightblade Fear. That's why I'm saying, like, this whole skill line seems kind of like a mix of the Necromancer and the Nightblade skill line, which is a little lazy design-wise, but interesting at the same time. I think we just have to see how it plays out. If we just look at the first morph here, which is called Hypnotize, so it affects all enemies around you and not just the ones facing your direction. Oh yeah, I didn't mention this. It only affects people that face your direction on the base morph, and the Hypnotize affects all enemies around you in the area. So it doesn't state a cap. I don't know. Might be like a 6 people cap. It might not be. If it's uncapped, I don't know. Might be a little strong. If you could just jump into a Zerg and just like basically fear everybody, like 24 people or even more. Yeah, I think this definitely needs like a 6-person cap on it. So yeah, let's move on to the next one. Next one's called Stupefy. What this does is basically it snares people after the stun ends. This also only affects people that are facing your direction. So someone who's like actively attacking you, you can stun them and then they're gonna be snared afterwards. Again, kinda like the, I don't know if it still does it, but like the old Nightblade Fear did that. So I feel like this is just a recycled Nightblade skill line at this point. We'll see how it goes. I mean, I'm glad we get something new. But honestly, it feels a little outdated. It feels really like they just took the old Nightblade stuff and just put it on the vampire. So yeah, there's that. Let's move on to the next skill, which is the last one in the skill line, and it's called Mistform. Yeah, we know Mistform already. Let's look at the base morph here. I think nothing really changed. You go into Mist, blah blah blah. Yeah, that is exactly it. This is basically the same. Then we have Elusive Mist. This is also the same as far as I can tell. And then we have the new morph, which is called Blood Mist, which replaces the old one that no one really used because they never could get it to, like, you know, do a decent amount of damage. And yeah, I don't know. The old one was not very good. The new one could be interesting. So what this does is it deals damage and it heals you for the damage caused, which is something new because previously you couldn't be healed in Mistform. So the only thing that would heal you in Mistform was your health recovery, basically. But now you can basically just mist through people, damage them, and it heals you for a certain percentage. Interesting. We'll see how this goes. This could be really strong. In Zerg fights, maybe. We'll see how this goes. So definitely a good choice to remove the old morph and put something new in. I'm in favor of that. And then for the last part, let's look at the passives here. Because some of them changed. The feed passive, you can, I think this might now be kind of viable in PvP. You can feed on somebody and you're actually killing them. And it increases your vampire stage, which is good because your vampire stage, like with the vampire rework, is actually better. You know, higher stage is better than lower stage for some things. You get stronger. And yeah, you get higher stages that way. So you could potentially use that in PvP too. Interesting. Of course, we don't know all these things like health recovery, flame damage taken, and the like ability costs apparently reduce or maybe go up. I don't know. We don't know any of these values, unfortunately. We'll see what they are when we get more details on it. Let's move on to the next one. Darkstalker, as far as I can tell, nothing changed. You're just faster in sneak, and it takes you less time to actually go into sneak. So that's pretty nice. I think this only worked at night before. Now it works like every time. You just go into sneak faster, probably. Let's look at the next one. Strike from the shadows. This one's interesting. So when you leave sneak, invisibility, or mist form, your spell damage is increased by a certain amount. Interesting. Kinda, again, Nightblade. Kinda Nightblade, but if you leave sneak. So this is like a double whammy for Nightblades, because they get extra spell damage and like crit when they're in sneak. So they could just go a lot, like not in sneak, but in invisibility, in their cloak. So they could just cloak up, hit somebody, and get the damage bonus for hitting somebody from cloak. And as soon as they hit somebody and they leave the cloak, they would get this passive, the strike from the shadows passive, and they would get another spell damage boost for a certain amount of time. So like I said, synergizes well with the Nightblades, but kind of works like a rehashed, recycled old Nightblade skill line at this point. Not too terribly happy about it. Interesting, but hey, I would like to see some new things, not old things on a different skill line. The next one, Undeath, hasn't really changed anything about it, I guess. Reduces damage taken by up to something based on your missing health. So this seems to be the same unless the value has changed, but we don't know that yet. And then we have the Unnatural Movement. It reduces your cost of sprint, which is interesting. And if you continuously sprint for some seconds, you automatically become invisible. Oof. Okay. That is... yeah, Nightblade. Hello, Nightblade. Everybody's a Nightblade now. Amazing, ZeniMax. Well, yeah. Anyway, guys, that's all the skills that we know so far. I hope this was useful to you. If you liked this and if you thought this was useful, please like, comment, share, subscribe. And yeah, I'll be back with another video soon. Take care, everybody.